Phoenix Down Radio is on the air.
Welcome, everybody, to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 207. I'm your host, Klauss and Seyrr, and joining me is Seyrr Timono. Seyrr, how have you been?
Oh, we might get some more thunder. I'm so pleased. We're getting actual rain again. So nice. Walked right into that one. But doing mostly good. Library stuff continues apace. The kids mostly seem to like me at this point, or their mocking seems affectionate.
Because of the hat?
The hat is a non-trivial part of it.
Well, I mean, 'tis the season to be mocked by teenagers for wearing a Santa hat.
Yeah, they'll find other stuff most of the year.
Yeah.
But no, they've been pretty good. I greet them all when they come in. A lot of them seemed weirded out at first, but now seem to appreciate someone like actually noticing and saying hi. So,
well, I'm glad whatever was affecting your internet last time, it seems to have gone away. So everything seems to be much more solid, which I'm very happy for. Since, for those of you who may not have heard the news, I know it's been a while since our last episode, probably about 2 months since we've actually had an episode post. So our apologies for that. Seyrr and I have come to the very difficult decision of putting the podcast on hiatus. It's not something that we took lightly, and we really thought about it. And it's just one of those things where, as much as we love the game, we love the community, we're not getting as much love out of doing the podcast as we used to. And we don't want to do something just because we think we have to. We want to do these things because we want to, we enjoy it, and it makes us feel, something special. So we're going to take some time, and we're going to, put the podcast on hold for a bit, and we may discuss options for different formats, different days of the week that we broadcast, stuff like that, so we can come back to this and hopefully be more rejuvenated and refreshed and energized to continue to bring content, in the Final Fantasy universe. But go ahead.
Yeah, I remember when we first started, I know it was one of the things we talked about. They're like, okay, we're not expecting to be 100,000 audience, like YouTuber life, yada yada yada. It's also, hey, we're gonna hang out with our friends, have some fun, do the and it's the type of thing where once it stops being enjoyable, I don't want to keep going with it. And the fact that we've had a good time and had it enjoyable for this long does feel like nothing short of a miracle. It's been great to spend this time with all of you, to share our love of these things, to come up with all sorts of new and different memes about who knows what.
Yeah,
it's something where, again, we've never wanted it to be okay, we're just going through the motions, burned out and kind of miserable type of thing. That's the thing we've always wanted to avoid. And I think that's the reason that we've kept you all around, because we're having fun with it. You're having fun with us.
Yep.
But that's always been important to us.
I'm not going to lie. I would say probably since the last year or so, I have started to feel like, time to get ready for the podcast. Once I get into
There's a bit of that.
I felt great. I really enjoyed doing the show once we're into it. But it did seem like a bit of a chore to get started. And
there's a lot of the setup work, a lot of the behind the scenes, a lot of the less fun and sexy maintenance aspects.
Yep. Well, and the biggest thing for me has been, the last 2 years I've had some major life changes happen. I have a new job. I have a wonderful girlfriend who I spend a lot of time with. And she is really taking up a lot of my free time, and work is taking up a lot of just too much of my time. But with that being said,
it's like these are awesome changes, having a new job that sounds a lot better in so many ways, having this relationship, these are good changes. They're just also changes, and trying to figure out how other parts of your life fit into it can be tricky.
Yep. And so realistically, video gaming has taken a back seat to a lot of the things that I've been doing over the past couple of years. I have played so much less Final Fantasy 14 over the past 2 years than in any other time that I can remember, to be honest. So I'm I'm probably just going to step back and focus on my life as, you know, as it is right now, so I can make sure to make the most of it. And once I get to a point where it's like, you know, I really miss doing this show, I want to talk with you guys again, that's when Sarah and I will come together and we'll say, how do we want to do this? So the things that are changing, like I said, we're not going to have the bi-weekly podcast, you know, for the foreseeable future. What's not changing is the Discord. You guys are all welcome here. We want this community to stay alive, to stay vibrant, and we want to keep it a safe and fun space for everybody to enjoy. So please share it with your friends. Continue to come in and you know, talk about memes, talk about the newest stuff going on in 14, in the Final Fantasy universe. Fun.
Just say hi, check in on how we're doing. Ask me questions about plot elements that don't make sense, or about how we're going to tie it into ancient Christian movements about, oh my God, the names. Yes, rabbit holes will be gone down. Rabbit holes can continue to be gone down.
And I'm sure Seyrr will continue to dig into his library and expertise to discuss, you know, different pieces in the storyline in the games. So feel free to ask those questions. But we're
Dude, like I got to give my I was doing the new EX trial a bit before this, and I got to give folks a political science lesson. It was great.
Oh, that's too funny. He always has to make video games too damn serious.
Look, the teaching tool is there. The information is fascinating. We're going to learn about the Holy Roman Empire.
Okay.
I've become self-parody, haven't I?
Yeah, you're not wrong. You are kind of a parody of yourself now, aren't you?
Anyway,
let's. So we've talked about a little bit of the more heavy stuff. Let's talk about some fun stuff. What have you been up to since our last episode?
Oh, so I mean, it is hard to figure exactly. Like, it's been a while. There's just been.
How was your November up to now?
Oh, so my cousin got married, which the whole family, like from a color sides, came out to Boston for that.
Oh wow!
Which, yeah, it ended up being like, okay, we're gonna have this be the holiday gathering. So I haven't done as much for Thanksgiving or Christmas, but great wedding, really lovely ceremony, amazing spread at the reception. Afterwards, my aunt wanted to spend a bit more time with me, so we ended up going back to New Jersey, and then she took me into New York for a couple days, saw a Broadway show, walked around Central Park, did a whole bunch of vaguely touristy stuff. It was great. It was really nice. Still definitely a West Coast person, but it was kind of fun to see just this huge mass of people, all these things going by. The transportation system is goddamn amazing.
Did you get a dirty water dog or a big old slice of Ray's pizza?
Yeah, my aunt is
She's not that kind
so
of
much the type to do that type of thing.
Fair.
I did end up doing a little bit of that during one of the times where I was off on my own for a bit, but she has, as someone who worked and lived in New York City for many years, she has concerns about street food.
No, I mean, I guess I understand, but you know, it's tough to, you know, to not go into a place like New York and not experience some of those things.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, I mean, it's been many years since I've been to New York, but when we went to Chinatown and we had to go have some, you know, some authentic Chinese. Well, we didn't get very authentic because, well, we were high school students at the time. So
I did get a hot dog from a street cart. It was surprisingly mid, and thus was everything I wanted the experience to be.
Fair enough.
They're not all gems. Some of them are meh at best, and that's okay. That's part of the experience.
Exactly. What else have you been up to?
A lot more of the various library things. We've got some of our we've got a thing for teen fiction coming up. We've got a video game program that the kids have started asking about. Hey, is it happening this week? Because they're very much looking forward to it coming up.
What type of video games are you going to be discussing?
No, it's pretty much just like a video game lounge, just like a space to hang out and play stuff. Like
Oh,
we bring
okay.
it. Yeah, we've got a Switch with just Mario Kart and Smash, which it turns out is enough to like. It's just like it's kind of a space to hang out that's separate from a lot of the rest of the library. I
Okay.
usually have the lights down lower and I have some music on. So just for ones who want a little bit of a different vibe, or maybe don't want to hang out with us around some people that day or whatever, it's just an extra little space for them.
That's cool.
Like, yeah, like some of it is just a hey, we're going to create some extra spaces for you because like the teens, they're doing their best.
Yeah. I mean,
Stuff is hard for them.
well, I remember being, a teen, kind of, and yeah, it wasn't easy, because we were, trying to get ready to become adults, and things like that.
They've got a lot of expectations on them. They've got a lot of stuff where they think this is what they're supposed to be doing, but they're not sure how it works. It's a hard time of life. You're like figuring out a lot of stuff, running into a lot of things of assumptions you had, all sorts of stuff like that. So just giving them a little space to just be.
Yep. Just be.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah, all sorts of other library minutia. But the short version is that stuff is going pretty well there.
awesome. We've been doing a little bit of holiday stuff. Like tomorrow, we're going to be going to my girlfriend's family to do, Christmas with them because they have a few members who are going to be doing a holiday cruise.
Ooh.
So we're doing Christmas a little early on her side. My family stuff was going to be, Christmas Eve. So that we got that coming up.
Nice.
We did today make some homemade eggnog, which I have a little bit left here. Delicious. And she also made her grandfather's Irish cream recipe, which surprisingly has 2 cups of Windsor whiskey.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and it's in a liter bottle. So like half Windsor.
That is going to give you a very Merry Christmas.
Well, hopefully, we're going to be bringing them
And a
with
Happy New Year.
we'll be bringing them with tomorrow, so hopefully they go over well.
Yeah.
We did Thanksgiving at her aunt's place. Really fun place out in the country, south of the Twin Cities. Had a lot of good food and had a really good time meeting a lot of her relatives there, which was kind of nice. And then on the following Saturday, we hosted my parents, and I spatchcocked and smoked a turkey.
Ooh.
And it turned out pretty phenomenal. I mean,
yeah, like a lot of the traditional ways to cook something like that, the heat doesn't necessarily hit where you want. Stuff cooks unevenly. So doing the spatchcock where you spread it all out, you can heat it a lot more evenly. That's awesome.
plus I did it on the smoker, so it was low and slow. Nothing over 240 degrees. Had multiple probe thermometers to make sure that the dark meat and the light meat were kind of cooking at the same rate, so I could turn it and switch it. Dark meat still got a little over 165, which, I mean, it didn't dry out too bad, which is good because I did a dry brine, which helped a lot. And then, we cooked the breast to about 155 and just kind of let it coast up. But, it was super juicy. It got a nice smoke ring to it. And we shared some of it with her family because we had a whole freaking 12-pound bird. I mean, we're not going to eat the whole thing. And got some mad props for that. So I was very happy with that.
Generally a good way to make friends with the family if you aren't already. Feed them good stuff.
Yep. And then last weekend, I had never been to a professional football game before. So earlier in the year, I had bought us some tickets to go see the Vikings play the Atlanta Falcons at US Bank Stadium. Didn't want to get just the real basic seats, so we ended up splurging. We got club level seating, which means nice cushy seats, more leg and elbow rooms, things like that. And it had its own private club area with drinks, food vendors, and private bathrooms.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
nice.
So it was really nice. It was a great experience. Didn't hurt that we won 42-21. We basically destroyed the Dirty Birds, and I was all for it. But
nice.
Go sports ball team, right?
Sports go sports.
But the night before, we did a little exploring, and we found this really good Indian restaurant downtown. And it was we had beef biryani.
Ooh.
And we had a deep fried paneer appetizer, which was really good. Oh, it was some of the best food that I have had, and it was inexpensive, but so delicious. So
does sound good.
Some of those small places that you find, you can get some really good stuff out of those. Don't be afraid to take a little bit of a risk and try something new, because it's a really good time. So that's kind of what's been taking up a lot of my free time. So aside from work, just work is being work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then tonight after the show, we're gonna have a little bit of a date night. We're gonna head to the brewery here in town. They're doing a little bit of a holiday date night where they're gonna have a hot cocoa bar with a whole bunch of different accoutrements and different alcohols you can add to it. So it'll be a nice little thing. They're gonna have a violinist playing some live music. So it's gonna be real chill, real relaxed. Be a good time. We were there earlier today because Santa was there, and we had to get pictures of eyeing with Santa Claus.
Oh.
And when
you better post them
when they're available, we will, because they had a photographer there taking them. So once they post them to the their social media, I'll make copies and post it in the Discord.
God, that's gonna be so goddamn adorable.
He is just so cute. He's having such a good time, and it's kind of funny because we're coming up very close to our 1 year on his gotcha date. It was the 17th of December last year when we got him.
Holy crap, has it been a full year already?
It has.
What the hell?
I know, right? Time's flying.
Seriously.
I mean, my girlfriend moved in a year ago tomorrow. So.
God, that's so weird.
Yeah, this year has just really flown by, and it just seems like it's just keeping on going and going and leaving us behind a little bit. But that's kind of what life does, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. But it's always melancholy to think about.
That's why you need to just go ahead and live in the now, enjoy the moments you have with your friends, your family, and your loved ones, and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just kind of like what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. There we are. Nice tying it back together.
There. And let's go ahead and continue on. We're going to jump in. We have just a little bit of game and community news that we'd like to talk about. We had stuff from what we were going to talk about on the previous episode, but that's also out of date right now. So at this point, we're just going to talk a little bit about what happened at the Game Awards. One of the big announcements coming out of that was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It will be coming to PC. They released the specs for the different levels of play, and they want to optimize play for the Steam Deck. This article was written by Victoria Kennedy and comes from Eurogamer.net. Let me copy paste this for y'all. The Final Fantasy VII Rebirth team is working hard on getting the game's upcoming PC release optimized for Steam Deck. During Thursday night's Game Awards, Square Enix shared a PC release date for the second game in its Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. In case you missed it, the second installment is coming to PC next month, January 23rd. And now the team shared more information on what exactly this PC version will include with specs and word on its Steam Deck status. Its minimum settings, if you want to get like 30 FPS at 1080p, you're looking at needing at least Windows 10 with a Ryzen 5 or an Intel Core 8100. You'll want at least just a mid-range graphics card, like a GTX or RTX 2060 or something like that.
Anyways,
but the big thing that they say, and this is in all of them, 155 gigabytes of SSD storage space.
Specifically SSD, they said.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it runs on an SSD on the PlayStation 5, so you really want that access speed for this game.
Yeah, in general, they're going to be pulling for stuff where you've got that comparable experience.
Yep. If you want to play on their recommended settings, to getting about 60 FPS in 1080p, you're going to want at least a Ryzen 5 5000 series or an Intel i7 8700, something, or up to like a 10 series i5. And then their ultra settings, if you're going to want to play at 4K, you're going to want at least a 5700X Ryzen PC or an i7-10700 with an RTX 7900 and a GeForce RTX 4080. So it sounds like it's going to take a lot of horsepower to get those frames out. But I mean,
yeah,
we've all played, or most of us have played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the PS5, and we know how beautiful that is. And even in some spots there, it's needing so much horsepower that a little bit of stuttering is happening in the game. But Square Enix did a great job in making that world come alive, and it just needs a lot of horsepower to really push through and view it.
And in general, they've made it clear that they want to provide that experience to people on more platforms. We've talked a little bit before about how a lot of stuff seems to be moving away from those exclusivity deals, and this seems to be more in that vein.
Yep. Though
not a huge surprise there.
No, I mean, and the last one came out a little bit. I think it was a little more than a year after the release on the PlayStation. But there still is no word about when either the first or second game are going to be coming out on Xbox. I mean, my guess is honestly is probably going to wait until the third iteration, and maybe they'll release all of the games on Xbox at that point. I mean, it would make sense. And then they did also talk a little bit about in a blog post, Square Enix is confirming that the team is working hard to optimize the game for Steam Deck use. It promised more information on its verification status in the future, so stay tuned for more information on when that time comes. And if you want to, you can pre-purchase the game now via Steam or Epic Games. And if you do so, you get a 30% discount across the different editions, but that will end on February 5th. So if you want to save 30% on pre-ordering the game, go ahead and get it now. And if you have a Steam Deck, I would recommend getting it on Steam, so that way you can play it on your PC or on your Steam Deck whenever you want. I think I'm going to hold off on the PC version because, like I said, I still haven't finished the PS5 edition yet. So
reasonable.
I do have 155 gigs of space available, but do I want to put it on there right now? No, not yet. Alshalon said they're still doing their replay on the PS5 Pro. Oh wow, you got a Pro? Awesome. I've heard
nice.
I've heard that the PS5 Pro is the best way right now to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've heard that it really handles all those extra frames, and it just looks smooth and gorgeous. So I'm hoping that you're really enjoying it. I just can't see spending $700 on a new console right now.
Yeah, that's a big ask.
I'm thinking maybe in a year or two I might end up getting like a new PC, but for right now everything I have is working pretty adequately. And continuing on, for those of you who are, we talked a little bit about, the Game Awards were on Thursday, and Final Fantasy was represented quite well. FF7 was nominated for Game of the Year, for game direction, narrative, audio design, best performance for Brianna White as Aerith, and best RPG. They did not win any of those, but they did win best score and music. So congratulations for winning as for the best video game music there. I mean, it was freaking fabulous. Did you end up getting the soundtrack at all?
I have just not been buying much in the way of soundtracks lately. I'll listen to stuff online, but I don't end up buying a lot of soundtracks lately.
Fair enough.
It's one of those things where it's an honor just to be nominated is a cliche, but it also is absolutely an honor to be nominated for something like that. Like in a field where you've got all these games coming out, where you've got all these options available, being in that class of stuff that's being recognized, pretty huge.
Yeah, I mean, and there were a lot of good games in there. I mean, Astrobot actually ended up taking a lot of awards, including Game of the Year.
Oh, nice.
So Team Asobi did an amazing job with that.
Yes, I definitely heard a lot of people raving about Astrobot there.
Yeah. I mean, Astrobot it's just a cute game. The gameplay was awesome. I haven't played it personally, but this is from people that I've heard talking about it. It's a really family-friendly game too, and the little nods that they have to other PlayStation titles is really cool. And then Final Fantasy XIV was also represented and nominated for Best Ongoing Game and Best Community Support. Unfortunately, they did not win in either of those, but they have won them in the past. So, I mean, it's nice that they're still being recognized as a very quality game, for, the people who are supporting the players, as well as, just having an amazing ongoing game that's been going for 10 years.
Yeah. Like something where you're, it's not just like this flash in the pan type thing. It's been a consistent thing of, hey, like this has a good supportive community around it, good support from the creators of the game for the community, all the different types of events and other support they provide for those fan creations.
Yeah, they've done a really nice job of
consistent.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that they're being recognized by not only the people who are a part of the community, but those outside of it as well, because a lot of this is coming from game journalists and pundits, things like that. So not all of them are really into the actual game itself, but they recognize that there's quality there. So in those cases,
whenever one of these things makes it out into the broader world, it's always a little bit strange, but still gratifying.
But I mean, it is kind of funny, Final Fantasy XIV really has hit, the mainstream zeitgeist in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
So it's really cool to see something that we have known about for 14 years, honestly. But 10 years plus in its current iteration, that's still going and has the love and support of not only the people who play it, but the people who produce it, support it. It's phenomenal, and I love being a part of this type of community, which is why we've been doing this for so long. So yeah, that's our game and community news for today. At this point, I think Sarah and I will probably take a little time to kind of talk about some of our favorite moments over the last 9 years of the podcast. Playing the game, things like that. We do invite you guys to share your thoughts. You can either share them in the chat. If you want to jump into the Discord channel, I'm going to keep my eyes on that. You can jump into that call-in channel. And we will see you there, and we can pull you in, and we talk with you about what you would like to share with us. But I'm going to let Sarah start, because I have been talking a lot already today.
Oh, yeah.
And I want a chance to kind of develop some of my thoughts at this point, because honestly, this is a really big part. And I'm going to tear up a little bit, but...
I think you're allowed to tear up a little bit, yes.
So I think I'm gonna
like a decade's worth, like several hundred episodes.
Yeah, it's a lot of our time, a lot of our our energy, our love has gone into this show.
Yeah, we've made friends, been part of joined communities. I have met so many of my friends through this show. A lot of our regular listeners, Nick Nair, I know you're there. Always love to see you. Ashalant, love to have you there as well. I actually was able to get introduced to a lot of the other lore mongers who still part of their community for that as well.
Yep.
So I always loved when we could have some of those folks on as guests, get this chance to take these people who maybe already are familiar with the community, but have this a little bit more of this fun, relaxed environment, get to show this human side to it. Having this thing where, I was actually just thinking about, there's one of the ones my anime group has been watching, Bofuri, the one about with Maple who wants to keep her fence raised, where it's it's an anime that's about playing an MMO, but it's really just about a bunch of friends who are hanging out and shooting the shit and doing fun, silly things together. And you've got your usual high-powered battle sequences interspersed with, okay, now we're just going to go do something silly for a bit. Oh my god, what ridiculous things you do. It really describes that experience so well. Just this strange world we find ourselves in together. A lot of the various co-hosts that we've had over the years, Luna, Marvelous, Sayomeo. I feel like I'm probably missing a couple of people, just all the different people we've shared this time with.
Chili, Tristan.
Yes, Chili. Oh my god, how the hell did I forget Chili?
Well,
what the hell?
It's
Chili is pretty goddamn unforgettable.
Yeah,
he's also on enough things that I don't necessarily associate him with us even though he was with us for God.
A few years.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and during some of that
It's
time frame, I
so
was on some
weird.
podcasts with his group. We did an anime cast for a while that I was a part of, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, that cultural it really does feel like kind of a cultural exchange there.
Absolutely.
Like all, yeah.
I mean, the best thing about this is, I mean, Seyrr, you and I are very different people. We come from very different backgrounds. We have very different social circles that we run in.
100%.
We would
100%.
without this game. I don't say this to be mean. We probably would not be acquaintances or friends.
Oh yeah, no, I don't take any offense on that. I 100% get it and believe you on that.
But the fact
Like,
that we both
life is so weird.
the fact that we both shared, the love for this game, and when I came to you asking you to join me in creating this show, and then your excitement in it was, I was really happy that you were just as excited to start this as I was. The fact that you're still here 9 years later, and you and I are good friends. We are great. I would call us great friends.
Yeah. Like, it's always been hey, when I stop having a good time is when I stop, and I continue to have a good time.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it may have been difficult for us to get started some days, but we always had amazing times doing this show. I mean, I never, ever felt like it was a mistake to do a podcast. I never felt that it was not the right thing to be doing.
There have been times where it was difficult, where stuff was a little bit harder, but here or just even in our own lives, I was making it so. But it's never been something I've regretted for a minute. Nor
will I ever feel that I regretted doing this at all at any point.
Absolutely. That's what it is. Like, yeah, like stuff's hard, but life is hard. And no, this has been a good choice. This is a good choice.
Yep.
I'm happy to have been here. I'm happy to continue to be here in whatever capacity we may have going forward.
Yep. And like I said, this isn't the end. This isn't the end. This is just a break.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna sit back and we're figure out what we're gonna do. But beyond that, we when we started this, it was just the four of us, and then the three of us, me, you, and Luna for quite a long time. Having fun talking about the game. And then we brought Chili in, and he, brought his own special twist to it because he works in games journalism.
Just like an absolute wealth of like experience, knowledge of the industry.
Plus, he is just a fan. Also, he's a fan, not only a fan of the game, he was a fan of us. He started. He started he found our podcast, and he became like a resource for us to talk with, and he would, if we said something wrong, he'd correct us. And then eventually I'm like, hey, Chili, you want to join us for a while?
Yeah.
And he did.
This is just the kind of place where that sort of thing can happen, which again, like in any other context, it's so weird. And that weirdness is kind of the magic of this.
Yeah. And then there was FanFest 2016.
Oh, what a time that was.
I mean, I would say as far as us getting out there, that was our pinnacle, because we were in the middle of everything. And not only were we meeting our peers, we were meeting people that inspired us. Like I got to meet the crew from Limit Break Radio, who kind of helped me in getting this started. I reached out to Nero, for some of his thoughts, because I had been listening to a lot of LBR prior to starting this show. Think about that how you will. I mean, they did produce a pretty quality show.
You were pretty obviously a huge fan of them. That was never a secret.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't always agree with everything they did, but hey, they did a great job and they had fun doing it.
I mean, that's the difference between a fan and fanatic, right?
Yeah. And it was nice to meet them. Getting to meet Fusion from Aetherite Radio, and the fact that they knew who we were. That I think shocked me the most. That they knew who we were, because we had only been going for less than a year at that point. Or no, just over a year.
Wanderer Sabaku, Mike from Stage Reborn.
Yep.
Yeah, that was another fun one. Just like all these different facets of the community, people with all these different interests.
You know, we
Like,
had
again, like a lot of stuff that normally you wouldn't have expected to come together. A lot of just like, what do these people have in common? Well, they have this in common, and it turns out that is enough.
yeah.
It turns out that's actually pretty goddamn fun.
Meeting Ethos.
Yeah.
And the fact, and then you've kind of then you mentioned you jumped more into the library community in that, where he's a huge member of that. Same with Anonymous.
Dude, we have so much Moose and I have so much blackmail material on each other at this point. We could absolutely do a mutually assured destruction pact, which weirdly has made us even better friends.
Yeah, he's such a fun person to talk with. He has
so many of the same traumas I do, but expressed differently. It's amazing. I'm not going to think too hard about that sentence right now.
Yeah, but it's it's the thing, and then having Aya and Shannon on the show. And then the last time they were able to be on a show. Sorry, we ruined it for everybody. Sorry. But and then
working with the community has its ups and downs.
Yeah. I mean, but looking back at all of those things, I mean, we just kept going and we kept enjoying it. We changed formats a little bit. We went from being, in an in-game podcast, for Final Fantasy 14, expanded it out to the entire Final Fantasy universe, and then made it more of a kind of an interactive, live show with Sarah and I, so you can see us, not just our avatars in game. I thought that added a lot because you can see our expressiveness, not just, hearing it. For those of you who watch the show live at Twitch or the VODs on Twitch or
Gaze
YouTube.
upon our glorious countenances or something.
Well, I mean, the beard is something to inspire awe, but
that is a pretty impressive beard.
Aside from that, like I said, just getting to talk with and meet a lot of the people who have been supporting us. You mentioned Nick Nar and Al Shalante. I mean, we can't forget about Rory and Ravenheart.
Yeah, given that we're not at our usual time today, I wonder if someone just couldn't make it because of that.
Yep.
You are loved. You are missed.
Absolutely.
We'll hope to talk to you soon. I still like every time I see a Rory in FF14, I'll just like run by. She always gives a wave. Always so sweet. It's like, even just like my thoughts are all over the place. But yeah, just like those little things of just like, hey, you say hi to your friend. Just like that being seen and appreciated. I love that so much.
Like her friend Evacent, he always says hi whenever I see him in game. Kane, just so many people. I mean, I'm sure there's more that I can't even think of right now because I'm trying to pull it off the top of my head. And again, my thoughts are jumbled too because we've been having a lot of feelings, so there maybe wasn't as much time to do preparation for this. No, and
we improvise a non-trivial amount of our content, so that's about par for the course.
And realistically, I think a lot of our content over the last year and a half has been more improvised than in the past, and I think I feel personally that may have impacted the quality of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, while it's fun to sit and discuss.
That was one of the big things, just like not having as much time having to do this stuff. There were times where I worried about, is the quality suffering?
Yeah, and I know you guys would tell us, no, you guys have been great all the time, and we appreciate that. But honestly, I think we've probably been having some issues with how well the show has been going. We ramble a lot. We've been, kind of, I know there's been a couple of shows that were not great.
Yeah.
And when it got to that, go ahead.
Even if you all are cool with it, I still want to provide something better for you.
Yeah, we hold ourselves to a high standard, or we try to, because we're our worst enemies.
Deserve it.
We are our biggest critics and our worst enemies.
And you all deserve to have good stuffs.
Exactly. So we are, like I said, we've said this 1,000 times. We are not quitting. We are not going away. We're taking some time to reevaluate. We want to make sure that when we come back and we are able to provide you the most fun, interesting, informative, and I don't know, we just want to do the best show we can.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys have ideas, suggestions on things that you would like to see us do, we welcome that feedback. Podcast@phoenixradio.com. There's the Discord. You can talk in any of the show channels. We'll take any of your guys' requests or thoughts, and we'll take them down and seriously evaluate everything that we see. But we're gonna sit.
Gonna say it now. No OnlyFans content.
Why not?
I work with children.
I'm teasing.
I'm slightly concerned that that's the only reason I came up with, but that's another bit of myself we're not going to examine too closely right this moment.
Yeah, we'll probably not go with the after dark content. That's just kind of a meme. We're not, yeah. But anyway,
I don't know that there's that much of a demand for it.
Well,
please, no one prove me wrong. I don't want to be thinking about that right now.
Oh my! But we want to just have fun, and we want to come back, and be able to have the same amount of fun that we did when we first started it. We want to figure out a way to revitalize that spark that initially started this show. And had it continue on for the last almost decade.
That is those things. Oftentimes, like when you're in the midst of doing something like this, it can be a little hard to get the space to step back and take a good look at it and figure out what you need.
Yeah, and it was after the issues we had trying to get the podcast going after Extra Life when I really sat down and realized that we need to sit back and figure this out.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, like I said, the Discord's not going anywhere. The website's not going anywhere. So all of the old podcasts are going to still be there for you guys to listen to if you missed them. And we'll continue to check in with the Discord and be as active as we can. Best way to get in touch with us is to add us in there so we get notified that there's a message. I try and check it a couple times a week. I mean, legitimately, my job keeps me super busy. I'm gone like 13 hours a day.
Jeez. Yeah, some of that time may be just spent figuring out what balance of anything looks like with your job.
Yeah, I mean, when you're,
I know it's like head and shoulders above a lot of the other stuff you were doing. It just has some different challenges with it.
Yeah, well, right now, like I said, with my job, I am the sole IT person for 3 car dealerships.
So what I'm hearing is that you need a minion.
I could use minions, especially if I have some unpaid minions to do my work for me. But I'm not like Gru. I can't just create minions out of thin air. So, or from
probably
bananas.
For the best.
Yeah, I might get arrested for war crimes or something like that. But
I mean, does it count as human rights if they're not human?
That's a question for a different day.
I said I wasn't going to make it weird, and I don't know why I said that, because that was never going to happen.
No, but it was hilarious and well timed. So
that is pretty much my brand.
That is, I mean, I'm going to miss this. I really am.
Yeah.
Because every 2 weeks coming down and sitting here having a conversation with you has been one of the highlights of the last 9 years, and I mean that sincerely. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you started this as a co-host and a free company co-member.
Yeah.
And then we got to know more about each other, and like I said, I really do consider you to be one of my very good friends. And
thank you.
So
thanks a lot. No, I feel the same about you. Just like I never would have expected that I would be able to like talk to you about some of the stuff they have, to be able to just like share these moments, some of these feelings, all stuff like that, sharing like these difficult times, these joyful moments. I would never have expected it, but I really love it.
Yeah, it's
cute, Klauss.
It's one of those things where it was one of those little unexpected bonuses that we got out of being able to create something like this, is creating new friendships, not only with the community members, but just between us.
Mm-hmm.
And
life is weird
with Chili and Luna. I mean, Luna was my friend before this, but she became your friend and Chili's friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just I'm probably not adequately expressing myself right now.
That's tricky. This is a difficult environment to do it in.
But the biggest thing that I want to say is thank you.
I'm feeling very loved, so you are managing that.
Yep. I want to say thank you to you, Seyrr, for being, for continuing on with this. I know there were times when we got started, it was tricky. It was difficult. There were a number of issues, that arose as we were starting this.
We had technical stuff. We had some personality clashes while we were all figuring out what we wanted this to be.
Yep.
Definitely took a bit before we got to the point where we could just really talk to each other in the way we do now.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were able to persevere through that and kept going, I am so grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy. It took a lot of time and a lot of really sitting down and discussing it with each other to make sure that we were kind of on the same page. I mean, this is
making a thing is hard.
This is probably the longest relationship I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And it's tough to when something like this.
It is definitely up there for me. I've had a couple that are longer. I have literally known Spender for over half of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But this is definitely up there.
Yeah, it's one of the longest.
Damn.
Things that I've committed to.
Right.
So to see it, not ending but pausing, is difficult, and it's been a part of my identity for the last 9 years.
My entire librarian career is younger than this.
My
That's so weird.
My IT career is older, but I mean, I haven't been at one place for nearly as long.
Right.
You know what I mean?
God, that's so weird.
I've had 4 jobs or 4 or 5 jobs in this time frame. Because I've worked at Best Buy, I worked at a casino, I worked at a pizza place, and I worked at an auto dealership. So 4 places.
That's so weird. Not bad, but weird.
Weird, yes.
I mean, everything about all this that we do is weird. That's part of what makes it fun.
Yes, I completely agree. It's
if we knew what was coming, it would be boring. The number of unexpected surprises and people we've run into, events that we've joined. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten to do a lot of fun things because of this.
We're all going to Vegas and getting sushi again.
Oh God, that was so much fun. Even though we had to walk 2 miles.
Weren't you just teasing me earlier about saying 17 miles was a lot?
No, I know, but
I know. I'm giving you crap.
On the map, it was 4 blocks. I didn't realize how big the blocks were in Vegas.
Yeah, that was a whole thing.
But hey, it's a memory that we'll never forget.
Absolutely.
Well, and the fact that Luna and I spent the entire night awake from Friday into Saturday to try and get merch line tickets.
You goddamn insane people.
I was up for 40 hours straight during FanFest, but I missed Chili's first. I missed Chili's first experience at mac and cheese because I needed sleep.
Was that trip also the first time he went to Wendy's? I remember Baconators were a big thing.
I want to say that was also that trip, but that might have been 2018.
Oh.
It was a FanFest related thing. Chili would have to remind us, but unfortunately he's not here right now. He's online, but he's not in the chat right now. But no,
God damn it, Chili! Why do you do this to us?
I mean, other things that we've gotten to do. Extra Life. We've done Extra Life for the last 8 years. And in between the Extra Life stream and now, we actually have hit our $1,000 goal for the 6th time.
Nice.
So we will be getting another gold medal to put on the wall to go with those others. Thanks to all of you guys.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely gonna have to keep doing that one then.
Extra Life is not going away. We will continue to raise funds for Extra Life.
I'm pretty sure we were already planning to do that anyways, but that's really nice to hear. I'm pleased.
So we've got that, and it's still open until the end of the year. If you have a couple of extra dollars to donate, the Extra Life link is in the Discord. It's on our webpage, I believe. Or you can just message me directly. I'll send it to you. If you still have a few extra dollars that you want to donate, it is tax deductible if you can. So any additional,
you've got about 2.5 weeks before the end of the year for those tax deductions.
Other things that we've gotten to do, we did the that fundraiser for with the Blitzball tournament.
Oh yeah, Memphina Madness.
Memphina's Madness with the Koban Crushers, I believe, was our team.
Yes.
We've helped to raise funds for To Write Love on Her Arms, working with a couple of other podcasts on that. We've had a lot of collaborations with Musecast, She Heals, I Tank, with Chili and Mulu Go Round, with
Maelstrom Radio.
I mean, a few podcasts that aren't around anymore. Gather Together, we did. Chocobo Dash. We had a couple of guys from Wondrous Tales. So I mean,
we've done a lot of stuff.
There are still a lot of great Final Fantasy podcasts out there. So even though we're not going to be producing any new content for the foreseeable future, there are a lot of people still doing it. So please go and give them some love. Tell them we say hi, and we will be back. This is not the end. This is just a we'll see you soon. Any closing thoughts, Seyrr?
I don't feel like I can follow that with anything. Like, that pretty much said it all. God damn it, Klauss.
I'm not trying to make you, to steal any thunder. I'm just trying to.
No. I am using humor to cover up my own surging feelings.
And it's funny because usually you are the one who's able to put things to the better words. You are very eloquent with your speech. You provide things very understandably and eloquently, and I've been doing my best to try and improve that. Occasionally I do get a couple of nice gems like that, I guess, but
more than occasionally, you absolutely have gotten a lot better at this, and you should be proud of that.
This podcast did a lot for me in that aspect. Yes, I'm still an introvert. I mean, that nothing's going to change that.
Same.
But my ability
But it turns out that having to every couple of weeks get up in front of people and talk for a while, just like that, it's weird. You practice doing something regularly and you get better at it.
Yeah, especially funny, right? when you're talking about something you enjoy. That makes it much easier.
Oh, that makes it easier. But just the doing it regularly is what makes you better at it.
Yep. And just doing it is just start by just doing it. Nike's right.
Yeah, I think you've been paying me a lot of compliments, so I just want to say just the amount you've been able to stick to a lot of the less glamorous parts, the tech, just like the organization, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that isn't always as fun, and just that you kept at that so dutifully, that's something that has always impressed me. And I feel like give yourself some credit for that too. Everyone sees the stuff that happens in front of the camera, but what's going on behind the camera is just as important, way less visible, and sometimes it's a lot harder. So be proud of yourself for that.
I am, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I know it's not the glamorous part. You're right, but it's the part that was necessary. We needed to have the behind the scenes things. We needed the website. We needed this structure set up in order to make it so I can get the podcast out and ready to go in time for people to listen to on Monday mornings.
And even just being the person who makes some of the decisions.
Yeah. God.
Like, someone needs to be the person who makes the decisions and gets stuff going, and that's the person who takes responsibility for it. And that's such an important job.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sure you know that, but I still want to be telling you that. That yes, this is seen, this is recognized. Be proud of yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
You're welcome.
Just like we appreciate all of you guys for joining us live tonight. And for those of you who are listening to this on the podcast, we're sorry you couldn't be here with us tonight, but you are still just as much a part of this community as anybody else. So we thank you, whether this is your first episode or your 207th episode. Thank you for your support over this time. We will be back, and we will have fun, and we will see you soon. I'm Klauss Nightbringer.
See you soon.
This for Seyrr Timono. You guys have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.